Hannah, how are you?
I am good. It's so nice to finally speak to you on a call.
I know, you guys, and kind of like what we were talking about with Shay, you don't realize how much business, networking, even in the moving abroad process, how much you can get from just the online space. Hannah and I met on Instagram. We've been voice chatting. I mean, the world has changed. There's so many ways to connect, grow your business, even start businesses without even knowing anybody. So, and I'm so happy to have you guys. This is Hannah Dixon. She's the CEO of Digital Nomad Kit. Actually has a pretty cool Instagram that you should follow. I'll drop the link in a second. And our chat today is really specific on digital nomading and freelancing abroad. And specifically, she runs a company where she's a VA and freelancer coach. So basically, she's the force behind Digital Nomad Kit, which is a world-leading, long-standing VA training provider. And she's basically taught over 27,000 VAs how to do this, which is pretty crazy. I'm like, I'm blown away that you've helped that many people. And she spent 15 years as a digital nomad. Okay. And you have a dog too, right?
Recently, yes, last year.
So she has a dog. She digital nomads all over the world. And her insights are in demand. So like, I'm just so happy that you had time to come join us today. She's been featured on top tier publications like Forbes and Business Insider. And she's a frequent speaker on future of work, entrepreneurship, lifestyle design, and freelancing. And I just am so curious how you got into like this VA space as well as digital nomading. Can you kind of give us a background on that part of your story?
Sure. Thank you so much for the introduction. I don't know that I'm going to be able to beat Shay, but let's try.
There's no competition.
It's a hard one to follow from. So my journey started, 15 years ago. I wasn't always a digital nomad. I was definitely a nomad most of my life now. And I was using work exchange platforms like Workaway, HelpX, Woofing, that kind of thing for a few years. And traveling became such a lifestyle for me. I couldn't see myself living any other way. It was just always ingrained in me. I grew up a third culture kid. So I traveled when I was young a lot as well. I had family all over the place. So it was kind of just so natural to me. And it came to a point where I found myself in Italy and I was working on a construction site of all things. And I got invited to a party in Milan, a big fancy fashion party. And somebody asked me, what are you going to wear? And I kind of looked down at myself and I had like, my shoes were like bricks of cement and plaster. And I couldn't afford new shoes. And I was like, oh, maybe I should like get a job or something, go home, do things the way everybody says I should be doing things. So I went back to the UK where I grew up and I did get a job in a bar for 2 months, didn't last long. And I met someone who worked online and all I heard was ding, 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 you work online? Like, so I could work online anywhere, right? Like, tell me everything you know. So she very generously did, and we started our first company together. She was a web designer and SEO expert. I didn't know what that meant at the time. I was just like, teach me everything you know, I'll help you wherever I can. So I started, responding to emails, doing a little bit of Twitter outreach to clients. Then the clients needed more stuff. They didn't just need websites. They needed social media design. They need social media graphics. They needed social media management. They needed inbox management. They needed travel booking, all these things. And I was like, oh, I'll give it a whirl. And it wasn't until I was on a team call with one of my clients that she referred to me as her virtual assistant. And I even knew that this was a career. And I was like, oh, that's what I'm doing. And then from that, I kind of got more into the business world online. I started a community myself. Kind of like Shay was saying, you can find your people wherever you go, and you can also, do that online as well. At that time, about 10 years ago, the digital nomad space was very much one demographic that was like public and in your face. I think we all know, but I was like, I want to meet more women. I want to meet more queer people. I want to meet women of color out there doing cool things. And I started this community. And in this community, I was sharing my journey, which very quickly escalated to me making 5,000 to 10,000 every single month, US dollars that is. And people were like, tell me how to do this. So from that, I was like, I don't know. I never went into this expecting to train people or having any experience in this, but I was like, oh, I'll give it a whirl. So I threw together a 5-day challenge, and I still run that challenge to this day. It has changed over the years. And in that first week that I did it, I implemented the day's content on the day. I was like, what would you do on day one if you were starting a virtual assistant business? You'd probably do this. So we did that. Day 2, day 3, day 4. By the end of the week, people were getting jobs. And I was like, oh, this stuff works. Maybe I'm quite smart. And skip forward now 10 years, and I've trained 30,000 people. That program still exists. And yeah, that's my journey.
That is so cool. So, can you kind of give us an insight? And by the way, guys, this is her free gift, is the 5-day VA challenge, which is that happening this week?
It's coming up. It's on the 17th. It starts.
The 17th. Okay. So the week after this week.
Yes.
Tell us about, I mean, what is the VA world like, and who is it for?
I feel like the VA world, if you are really like new to working online, this is a really good entry level position, because the barrier to entry is really low, but the income potential is really high, and where you take it is endless, really. So I say that virtual assistants do 3 kinds of work, and it sort of falls into 3 task buckets. You've got administrative work, you've got creative work, and technical work. And you're going to find crossover with all of those. But the thing that I love about this most is that whether you're coming in with tons of experience, you can come right in with those premium rates and land yourself great retainer clients. Or if you're coming in with what you think is no experience, the 5-day challenge exists to prove you wrong. So we all have experience that we can bring into the online world. Now, I always say it like this: if the only thing you could do was to like create a Word document and download it, like there is someone in the world that does not know how to do that and is paying people to help them. So it's really about bringing what you already know into the online space and then learning more. And as you learn more, you can earn more.
Wow.
So it's so accessible as well. I think that's the thing that I like. It's so accessible wherever you are, wherever the Wi-Fi reaches. I'm not sure why that link isn't working. Oh, there's an N missing. Digital Nomad Kit. That was probably me.
Let me fix it. Let me fix it. I'll fix it right now.
Thank you.
Nomad.
Yeah. So
yeah,
that's it. The Digital Nomad Kit. I was like, what's wrong with it? The accessibility of it is something that really excites me. So wherever the Wi-Fi reaches, you can do this. You can have clients from all around the world. You are open to global market rates. And also in terms of people with disabilities, people who can't leave home, people who are neurodivergent like myself, it offers a really flexible lifestyle and career that you can build to work around your own needs rather than the other way around.
I love it. And it can blend into so many different things. I mean, if some of you guys have interests in, let's say, beauty, I mean, you can just focus your clients on just beauty clients. And it's kind of fun because you're a beauty expert. Can you kind of talk about, well, first of all, let's see who in the chat wants to create a business, who hasn't yet, and is thinking about different options. Please put me in the chat. Have you ever thought about being a VA? Put yes. There's many different things though here. I mean, VA can turn into different things too, right? What also can it turn into? It can also be like social media management. What other things can it be? So
I use the term virtual assistant as an umbrella term. If you assist people virtually, you can fall into the bucket of how I can help you. So it's freelancing, essentially. It's a service-based business. And that can move in so many different ways. And I urge you, if you start a VA business, to start looking at what you're most interested in, kind of following on from what Shay was saying. You know, follow your joy. What are you actually enjoying doing? And follow that more, because that's where you're going to have the most job satisfaction. You're going to make the most money, all those kinds of things. So like I said, it can fall into those 3 buckets. If it's administrative, you might be managing someone's calendar. You might be doing inbox management, customer support. You might be doing project management. You can start, you know, there's ways that you can grow into higher roles in that as well. And then you've got creative. That could be anything from simple Canva designs all the way to complex web designs or video editing, that kind of thing. Then technical, I mean, again, it could be podcast editing, video editing, it could be coding. There's so many things. If you took any one business and just put it into the limelight, let's take, I don't know, throw a business at me, Shauna, that everyone knows.
I mean, I have a web design agency and I taught myself how to do it during, like right before COVID on YouTube. Yeah, so that's one example. Web design.
So that website design business, what else does it need? You're not just building websites. What's happening on the back end?
Okay, so I'm invoicing, I'm using a CRM to send emails. I'm doing social posts for clients too, because sometimes they say, oh, I don't just need websites. Do you do graphic design? So then I'm like,
Exactly.
yes, I also do graphic design. So then it expands. It's not just websites. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is what I'm saying. You take any business, because almost every single business that exists is online in some capacity right now, and you start breaking it down. There's so many moving parts that a VA can fill. And you know what? Entrepreneurs don't want to do it all. Shay talked about that. You want to step into your zone of genius. And that means that you can bring on, you know, let's say that you're the VA, you're stepping into your zone of genius, enable the actual entrepreneur to do the same. So the business grows with your help as well. So you are such an asset to entrepreneurs and small businesses across the board, while being an asset to your own growth and freedom and flexibility, doing things that you enjoy. So this is such a cool career, because you can just take it in so many directions.
Yeah, that is so cool. So, I mean, can you kind of tell me what it could look like, what life could look like on the day-to-day as a VA? I mean, kind of paint a picture too of what you're doing.
Sure. It's very different depending on the person. Like I said, you have a lot of freedom to choose who you work with, how you work with them, how many hours you want to work, when you want to work, which is the beauty in it. But I would say sort of a typical day that looked like for me when I was still doing services myself. I used to chunk my clients into different days. So I would work with, client A on Mondays and Tuesdays. So I knew that that's when I'm getting that done. Here's when they can communicate with me. I had my boundaries around that. Wednesday mornings, I'm working with client B, and Wednesday afternoons are mine. I'm going to yoga, or I'm going to get a drink, or whatever I want to do. And I work well in the evenings. So I have allocated time in the evenings to work for myself. You might be a morning person. You might be I've got a spurt midday person. So yeah, I mean, it depends again how many hours you want to, but the cool thing is that you can really switch it up based on your sort of lifestyle goals. If you have a full-time job and you want to do this on the side, you can do 5 hours on a Saturday and you would be great with that. If you want to do this full-time, you can take as little or as much as you want. And also determining how much money you want to make will dictate that as well. But the thing is the flexibility. I think that's the thing I want to drill home here, is that you get to choose.
Right. If you wake up sick, you don't have to worry about telling your boss or using that vacation day that you didn't want to use, or fear of being fired or something. You don't have those problems. So it's so nice.
Yeah.
Tell us about combining this with the digital nomading that you do, and how does VAing open up that opportunity?
Well, I mean, like I said, when I first met someone who worked online, it was just like, boom, you can do this from anywhere. And for me, in my personal journey and my life, what's happened in my life, being a digital nomad and traveling gave me freedom, something that I so desperately needed. I came from a very violent background, and this gave me a way out towards something that made more sense to me, and meeting people all around the world who were open-minded and kind and empathetic, and bringing the business into that allowed me to maintain that freedom. So I know that freedom is a big word that means a lot of different things for different people, but it's something that all of us want. And so what it's really done is combining the career with the lifestyle has enabled that to be sustainable. It means I don't have to settle for less anywhere, anytime anymore, which is amazing. And it gives people that option, which I think everybody should have that option to do.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And she's in Puerto Vallarta. How is it there, by the way? Tell me about the life there.
It's cool. It's not my place. I have to say, it's not my place. I'm a new move here. I was in Guanajuato, which is in the mountains before. I'm less of a beachy person. I'm more of a cooler weather mountain type person, but this is a new experience. I'm embracing it. I'm finding things I really like here too. It's super gay friendly. This might be the gayest city I've ever been to in my life, which is nice to just not have to be, have any discretion about my identity here. Good food options, bougie apartments, bougie drinks, like all the stuff I like too. But if it was a little bit cooler, it would be nice.
Yeah, okay, cool.
If you're a beach bunny, then yeah.
I want to jump in. Can you share with us a peek to what kind of strategies you do teach on that 5-day challenge? That would be so awesome if you could share any of those insights.
Absolutely. I can share day 1 through 3. And then after that, it's a little bit secretive because it's kind of tailored to each group. So day 1, we start looking at right away, what existing skills do you have? I'll give you some exercises and worksheets, and you'll then post that. You'll have accountability buddies to make sure that you're actually keeping up with things and understanding all the content. We have this time around, I think 1,600 people signed up, which we just counted this morning. So maybe a little bit more than that. I respond to every single post in this group. So if you want feedback, me and my team are in there, 1,600 people, you're going to get feedback, even though it's that big. We make an effort to do that because day one is so important in really starting to identify what you're bringing to the table. Then we look at who you want to bring that to the table for. So, you know, we kind of loosely niche. Niching is good in that, like, it helps you stand out, make more money, blah, blah, blah. But I also like to reframe how we look at niching. There's the industry-based niching, like I'm going to work with beauty clinics, like, for example, you said. But you can also niche by values. So you can say, I want to work with people who really want to elevate the voices of women, for example. So then that leaves the scope of the industry wide, but you're really clear on the values there, because that's also something that's important to you. So on day one, we really look at your values, industries, all these kinds of things to come together and put together a sort of makeshift elevator pitch. And it will change, but it's about imperfect action. It's about getting something out there and seeing what you're capable of. Then day two, we go right into it, because I know this is the question. Everyone wants to know, how much money can you earn? I actually give you this nifty little calculator where you can put in your existing expenses now, and you see what you would need to earn on an hourly basis in order to meet your needs now, and how that can grow. So we talk about that. We also do some money mindset stuff, because, you know, when you become a VA, you become a business owner. I think a lot of people fail to see that in the process, is that you are not an employee, you are a business owner. So there's a lot of business owner entrepreneurship mindset type things that we talk about during this week. People have some really profound realizations as they go through day two. Day three is about lifestyle design, because as we've talked about, the VA career is a lifestyle career. It affords you a lifestyle by design. So we start designing what this is going to look like on day three. Day four, you can actually land clients with day four, and I can't tell you what you do because it would give it away. But day four, you can land clients with, and we've had many people land clients with, even with zero experience. And day five is also a little bit of a secret too, but it's good fun. It's a big group, lots of energy, really good momentum, and really good opportunity to get results right out of the gate and get a lot of clarity. Even if you decide to not be a VA, you'll have clarity on your next steps.
I love that. Oh, it's so exciting. You guys better sign up for this challenge. I put it in the chat. I will definitely put it again. And let's open it up for questions. Put some questions in the chat, guys. I know we have been seeing some. Oh, I have one here. Lisa Ann says, for those of us looking to hire, do you have suggestions where to look to hire virtual assistants, especially somewhere we can look by specialty industry, people who have EA and VA, more admin, etc. I'm always looking for more places to look.
So shameless plug, I do offer a matchmaking service, which means you can get connected with our trained and vetted VAs. So there's lots of great people to choose from there. I can drop the link. It's digitalnomadkit.com/hire. There's a free option and a paid option if you need support. But I recommend referrals are the best. If there is a business owner that you know has a team and you think they're shit hot, reach out to that business owner and say, hey, where do you find your VAs? Do you have any connections for me? Or any of your VAs looking for extra work right now? Because often VAs are not working full time for one client. They have a handful of clients. Right. So, you know, people who have really great websites, where did you get your website built? Who did that for you? Who's managing your social media? Who is on your customer support team? Because wow, they were amazing. So referrals is probably going to be the best port of call. After, if you wanted more in-depth support, someone like me, a matchmaking service or a agency, something like that. I don't always recommend those gig sites like Upwork and stuff like that, simply because there's two parts to it. One, the freelancers on there are often devalued in their rates. They take a lot of money off of the actual freelancer's income at the end, so it's not great for them. But two, in the VA space, there's a real shift towards personal branding and building a business for themselves and networking, right? So you're going to find them in these communities, online communities. And those VAs, those really like great VAs who are investing in their own knowledge and upskilling all the time, they're not hanging out on Upwork all the time, because they know that people, when they search looking for a VA for $5 an hour, what's going to pop up? Upwork. So you've got a lot of those people looking for work there. So a lot of the great VAs are not hanging out there because they want great clients too. So yeah, online communities, referrals, matchmaking services, those are all great places to start.
Okay, and then I have a question. And then while you answer this, I'm going to run to the ladies' room because it's been a couple hours. So Nellie is asking, this is random, but I don't have much experience in web design, copywriting, or social media management. I know there are loads of tutorials on YouTube, but the search results suck and contain mostly unrelated videos. Are there any ways to optimize my search results or other free resources that will help to learn these skills? And I will be right back.
I mean, yeah, you're going to come up with all kinds of different things. Thank you for trusting me with your your summit here. There's lots of different resources online. Some are going to be shady, some are not going to be shady. I would look for reviews whenever you are looking at courses or programs or even free things. You know, look at the person you're looking from. Do they have an experience of doing this already? Do they have reviews up there? Have they been around for a while? That kind of thing. All of these are sort of credibility markers. You know, you can get training from, you might want to start looking at, if money is a concern and you're really looking for free stuff, you might want to look at some low cost stuff, because oftentimes the quality is going to be just that little bit better. And if it's gated content, there is sort of a level of, especially if it's on Udemy or something like that, there's a level of, you know, this is kind of vetted. So you might want to look at allocating a small budget towards your learning as well. That would be my response to that. I know that it's hard to sift through all the stuff, which is honestly one of the main reasons that I started the VA program that I have now, the Virtual Excellence Academy, as our paid program, because one, people were asking for it, but that aside, as things grew, was a place for people to come where they could safely rely on the knowledge that was there. So maybe you want to look at some gated content, even if it's lower cost, to help you with that. I'm going to look at some of the other comments here. Or we can just start a party because we've got the summit to ourselves now. Should I just bring everyone on? Let's have a look here. I see we have some of the members of my community in here. If anyone's looking for a VA too, there are some great VAs in the comments here. I see Alicia, Seema. We were about to start a party, but you're back now.
Oh, I was like, did you blow up the room?
Whoop, whoop.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was just answering a couple of questions there.
Does anybody have any last minute questions? We are running a couple minutes delayed. FYI, Rochelle is Move Abroad Coach on Instagram, and she's freaking amazing. So we are going to hop back into like visa specific questions and moving abroad questions, but let's like take some more Q&A for this topic.
Everyone's just having a party in the comments now.
Everybody's having a party. Love it. I totally missed that whole free thing, but if I can comment, I learned how to do web design from YouTube, and it's your mindset too. Like you can learn whatever you want. You just have to be resourceful, but you also have to have support. So that's why it's so nice what you have and the community that you have. I didn't just watch the YouTube videos. I actually had a friend from high school who had a very successful social media agency. It's actually still running, based in LA, Social Style House. And he actually coached me and mentored me through the whole process of, he actually gave me a contract to use for like when I'm getting my first client. He coached me, like literally I was in between calls with my first client and he was coaching me. So it's like, he did like one call for free, but like I paid for the coaching. So it's very important that you guys invest in yourselves. Like there
becomes a level where it becomes more necessary for sure.
Like I'm all about free stuff. And like, I'm so happy that we're doing this because there's so much information here. But at some point, when you do want to get to the next level, like you do need to invest in yourself. I mean, Tony Robbins has trainings that literally change people's lives. And they're like, yeah, they're a lot of money, but like people say that it was the best thing they've ever done, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I want to add to this as well. Sorry, go ahead. I interrupted you.
No, that's it. I just wanted to say that because that's what really catapulted my success, is when I started investing.
Made that shift to investing. And, you know, having a little bit of skin in the game can motivate you a lot, I feel. But to add to that as well is that one of the things that I teach is that you will learn a lot by doing. And like I said before, when you start a VA business or any kind of business, really, you have a business to run, right? So if you're going to be a really good Instagram manager, you probably want to have a great Instagram account. So you're going to be working by trial and error to make your Instagram amazing. If you want to be a web designer, your web design is your portfolio. If you're going to be a writer, a copywriter, start a blog, like start putting it into action, because not only does that get you used to doing it and you're gaining that experience, it acts as a body of work that you can present to potential clients and say, I can walk the talk. Here's my portfolio. So you are building a business, use it to implement, to build your own business and get that experience as well.
I love that. And then I always love to ask my online business owners like yourself, and then obviously you teach this. What's your take on getting your clients, the first clients? Are you a proponent of do free work in exchange for testimonials, or are you a proponent on somebody should pay always, even if it's a little bit when you're getting started, but you should receive monetary? I'm kind of in favor of the latter, but
yeah,
I don't know. What do you think?
Me too. And I have some exceptions. I always say get paid for your work, because what happens is when you offer free work, if that person wants more work, you might find yourself in a sticky situation. Or if you massively discount, you're starting that working relationship on the foot that like you're open to negotiation and you're not, rigid in your rates, which you want to be at some point because you need to have that income, right? So I do have some exceptions to it. If there is a cause you really care about this charity, for example, and they need help, and you want to help them, then go for it. But limit it to that, even if it's friends and family, because friends and family, while they may love you the absolute most, they also know how to drain you the absolute most. So I'm definitely more on the side of getting paid, but with a couple of exceptions, mostly related to if there's something you want to support on a charitable sort of way.
I love that. That's so true. And I'm with you. But there was a question in the chat. I don't know how far up it was, but it's pretty far up, about pricing. I'm sure you go over this on the challenge, but can you lightly tap on pricing? Especially
you mean how much VAs can earn?
Yeah, how much they can earn, and then like, how to decide your pricing, or should they wait for like the day 3, 4, 5 for that?
I mean, I'll give some away now for sure. But there's kind of different levels. So if you're coming in completely entry level with maybe just some more basic skills, you can start with anything from $15 to $25 an hour. We've seen that across the board right now. If you're coming in with sort of intermediate skills, that could be anything from sort of light social media management, maybe a few graphic design things here and there, anywhere between sort of 20 and 35, depending on where you are and types of clients you're hiring, working with, that kind of thing. And then you've got sort of more advanced VAs who are, maybe managing projects at this point, that kind of thing. You're anything from 35 to the sky is the limit. We've got VAs who have started with us at $25 an hour and are now charging over $100 an hour for their services. So you can also move from hourly into retainers, which is a whole nother thing we'll talk about in the 5-day thing, because this is going over. But the limit is not unlimited, of course, but there are ways that you can create a really good income for yourself. And I'm talking, 5-figure months every month on a consistent basis that is secure.
Amazing. Oh, I love it. And the chat is going crazy. I see Jennifer's an accountant, maybe can do some bookkeeping for digital nomads. Totally agree.
Yep.
I mean, there's all these people in this summit that are literally asking, I need a tax person. Who knows an international tax person? I mean, this is a market. So yeah, for sure, Jennifer, that would be totally cool. The last question I have for you, and then we're going to hand it over to Rochelle, who's going to close out the summit. So what's the one secret you want to leave people with when they are planning on making their move abroad in the next 12 months? Also with this whole digital nomad online space.
I've heard you ask this to everyone, and I've been still like mulling it over, like, what is my secret? I wouldn't say it's a secret, but it's more of a mindset shift and something that I would like you to keep in mind. And one of the things I always say is stop applying for jobs and start creating opportunities, and apply that to all areas of your life. Creating opportunities, being proactive about everything, every decision you're making, it isn't going to come to you without taking action. So being proactive and being intentional is probably the secret to how to do all this stuff.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for being here. I wanted to
Thank you for having me.
Before we hand the baton over to Rochelle, I wanted you guys to meet, because you guys are both awesome online entrepreneurs. And
hello.
Hi.
I've been on for a while, so I've really been enjoying your talk, because I coach people on moving abroad. So I work with a lot of people who are getting started with freelancing and things like that. And I was listening to your advice, and I'm like, yes, like nodding along with everything you're saying. I'm like, this is great. So
I'm sure we've got lots of crossover in our clientele as well, so we should talk. Thank you so much.
Hopefully you guys can connect offline. I'm going to drop the free gift, you guys, for the 5-day VA challenge, which is happening on the 17th. And then her website is here too. Thank you so much, Hannah. It was so nice to chat
Thank
with
you.
you finally.
Have a great day. Thanks for having me.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.